Welcome back to Coronation Street Update. Have you ever watched an innocent person suffer so much that you start wondering whether the real crime isn't what they're accused of, but what everyone else is allowing to happen? Because tonight, one of Coronation Street's most heartbreaking storylines takes an absolutely devastating turn. A young woman reaches her breaking point. A desperate act sends shockwaves through Weatherfield. A guilty secret threatens to destroy lives. And somewhere among the fear, someone knows the truth, but they're still staying silent. And what happens next could change everything. Let's get into it, because this episode is emotional, disturbing, and impossible to ignore. For weeks now, Summer Spellman has been trapped inside a nightmare. Accused of a crime she insists she didn't commit. Dragged into the chaos surrounding Theo Silverton's death. Forced to watch her future crumble piece by piece. Every day has brought more pressure. More fear. More uncertainty. Now, the weight has finally become too much. But that may not be the whole story. Because Summer's breakdown isn't just about prison. It's about hopelessness. It's about feeling abandoned. And it's about believing nobody is coming to save you. Meanwhile, the investigation into Theo's murder continues to grow more suspicious. Kit Green has turned his attention toward Gary Windass. And something about Gary's behavior is setting off alarm bells. When Kit questions him about Todd Grimshaw's missing phone, Gary claims to know nothing. Nothing at all. But Kit isn't buying it. Not for a second. In fact, the detective becomes convinced Gary is hiding something. The question is, what? Because there is a huge difference between hiding evidence and hiding a murder. Gary's nerves are impossible to ignore. Every question seems to make him more uncomfortable. Every conversation feels loaded with tension. And Kit can sense it. The walls are slowly closing in. But then everything changes. A phone call arrives. And Todd Grimshaw's entire world stops. The prison has called. Summer has been rushed to hospital. Just imagine that moment. The panic. The fear. The helplessness. After everything they've already endured, Todd suddenly finds himself racing to discover whether Summer is even going to be okay. And when he finally learns the truth, it's absolutely devastating. Summer reveals that she deliberately switched off her insulin pump. Let that sink in. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a mistake. This was an act born from complete emotional exhaustion. Because she can no longer cope with life behind bars. The prison walls haven't just trapped her physically. They've trapped her mentally, emotionally, psychologically. Now, her desperation has become impossible to hide. It's one of the darkest moments we've seen from Summer in a very long time. Because what she's really saying isn't that she wants attention. She's saying she can't take any more. And that's heartbreaking. Think about everything Summer has endured. The accusations, the isolation, the fear, the constant uncertainty, the feeling that her life is slipping away while everyone else carries on. Eventually, even the strongest people start to crack. And Summer has been carrying trauma for years. This isn't just about Theo. This isn't just about prison. This is the accumulation of every painful experience she's ever faced. And now it's overflowing. When Todd hears the truth, he's horrified, completely shattered. Because suddenly the murder investigation stops being about evidence. It stops being about suspects. It stops being about theories. And becomes something far more personal. A fight to save someone he loves. You can imagine the guilt racing through his mind. Could he have done more? Could he have protected her? Could he have stopped this from happening? Those questions are going to haunt him. But then comes perhaps the most chilling moment of all. Todd shares Summer's condition with friends at the Rovers. And the atmosphere immediately changes. Because among the sympathy, among the concern, among the shock, someone may be hiding guilt. Someone listening to Todd knows more than they're admitting. Someone understands that Summer shouldn't be in prison. And yet, they're staying silent. The camera may not reveal them immediately. But the suspicion is impossible to ignore. And that's when things take a darker turn. Because if Summer's suffering doesn't force the truth into the open, what will? One person struggling with that question is Tyrone Dobbs. And honestly, the pressure on him is becoming unbearable. Because Tyrone knows something. Something huge. Something that could potentially help clear Summer's name. But fear is keeping him quiet. Fear of consequences. Fear of exposing secrets. Fear of what happens when the truth finally comes out. Every time Summer suffers, Tyrone's guilt grows heavier. And sooner or later, something is going to break. The question is whether it will be Tyrone's conscience or another innocent victim. Meanwhile, across Weatherfield, Daniel Osborne faces problems of his own. After the recent chaos involving social services, a nervous Daniel welcomes a social worker into his home. He's trying desperately to rebuild trust, trying desperately to prove he's a good father, trying desperately to repair the damage. But deep down, he believes he knows exactly who reported him, and that suspicion could create an entirely new conflict. Because trust is becoming a rare commodity on the cobbles, and Daniel's patience is wearing dangerously thin. Elsewhere, David Platt's life continues spiraling into chaos. What begins as a simple missing milestone card quickly becomes another source of tension. Harper's special hospital photo shoot is missed. Shona is devastated. The moment is gone. And once again, finger-pointing begins. David immediately turns his attention toward Jody, accusing her of stealing the card. But is he right? Or is paranoia starting to cloud his judgment? Because that's the thing about manipulation. Once trust disappears, everyone starts looking guilty. And then we arrive at one of the most emotional storylines unfolding right now. Will Driscoll and Hope Dobbs? Will is still struggling with the trauma caused by Megan Walsh. The emotional wounds remain fresh. The memories still hurt. And now he's considering giving up athletics entirely. A dream, a passion, the future. All because he can't separate it from what happened. It's heartbreaking. Because this is exactly how abusers continue controlling people long after they're gone. But Hope surprises everyone, showing a maturity few expected. He tells Will something incredibly powerful. If he gives up athletics, Megan wins. Those words hit hard. Because Hope understands something important. Healing doesn't mean abandoning the things you love. Healing means reclaiming them, taking them back, refusing to let trauma decide your future. And for a moment, Will actually listens. But standing nearby, watching everything unfold, is Sam Blakeman. And something feels wrong. Very wrong. His mind is racing. His emotions are spiraling. Jealousy, loneliness, confusion, maybe even heartbreak. Nobody notices it yet. Nobody sees the warning signs. But Sam is struggling. And sometimes, the people who suffer quietly are the ones most at risk. Could this friendship between Hope and Will unintentionally push Sam into an even darker place? It's a worrying possibility, and one that could become a major storyline in the weeks ahead. As this episode comes to a close, Weatherfield feels heavier than ever. Summer is lying in a hospital bed. Todd is desperate for answers. Gary is under increasing suspicion. Daniel is fighting to save his reputation. David is losing trust in everyone around him. Will is battling his trauma. And Sam is silently falling apart. Every character is carrying emotional scars. Every character is hiding something. And every secret is moving closer to the surface. But perhaps the biggest question remains unanswered. How much more suffering will it take before someone finally tells the truth about Theo Silverton? Because if Summer's collapse isn't enough, what will be? If you've enjoyed today's Coronation Street breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to Coronation Street Update and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest spoilers, theories, and drama from the cobbles. And now I want to hear from you, because this storyline has left fans completely divided. Drop your theories in the comments below. Who do you think is hiding guilt in the Rovers? Will Tyrone finally come clean? Can Summer recover from this devastating ordeal? And is Gary hiding evidence, or something much worse? Until next time, keep your eyes on Weatherfield, because the truth is getting closer. And when it finally explodes, nobody will escape the fallout.